Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. It's terrific to be with all of you today. I was up late watching, what exactly was that last night? I don't know, what was that? You know, they ask them all to raise their hands. Raise your hands if you want to lose the election, right? They all raise their hands. They want to give, I think, what was it? I can't remember what they wanted to give away exactly. Was it health care or free education? Health care to foreign nationals that broke the law to come into our country, and all their hands just shoot right up. I think Biden was kind of doing like a half hand raise. See, Biden, he can't remember what he stands on each issue because he stands for absolutely nothing. All he stands for is power. It's Joe Biden. And, you know, I watched both nights, the Democrat debates. You ever notice, it's really, first of all, do you know what was missing from those two debates? Two words. Well, common sense, too. That's exactly right. That is true. We could play this game, you know, the flag, that was also missing, right? God Almighty, all those things were missing. But it was very interesting. Bob Mueller. You notice they didn't mention the Mueller report? Do you notice? For 2 years, we heard that the Mueller report, Mueller is coming, all these indictments, it's Mueller time, and all these horrible things. You know, we had to hear about impeachment and all this. And I'll tell you right now, if they actually believed there were means to impeach Donald Trump, they would be mentioning it nonstop in both debates. They got nothing, folks. They have nothing on this president. And so for 2 years, we spent $40 million. We ruined people's lives. Like Michael Flynn's life is totally ruined. And this horrible, horrible thing. And Bob Mueller and his corrupt, angry Democrats went after anyone who did anything to help Donald Trump. And for what? For what? To prove a negative. And they say, oh, well, it didn't totally exonerate Donald Trump. First of all, you can't prove a negative. It's actually metaphysically impossible to prove a negative in our country, unlike the Chinese system, which Joe Biden, I think, prefers. You know, they're all speaking Spanish the first night. I thought Joe Biden was going to go right into Mandarin. Really. I really thought he was going to go straight into Cantonese or Mandarin, because that's the constituency that matters to him the most. We'll get to Joe Biden in a second. And so, you know, we hear about this horrible thing for 2 years. And the president fights. He does not exert executive privilege once. He allows the roaming prosecutor, which, by the way, was unconstitutional and should never have been approved in the first place, the Mueller investigation. Now, mind you, the whole Mueller thing was nothing more than a tactic to get Nancy Pelosi to be Speaker of the House. That's all that it was, to fearmonger, to suburban voters, to corrupt the cable news airwaves, to try to have this big mystery that something was coming. And I think it totally destroyed Rachel Maddow's career. I think they were trying to bring her back last night. They can't even get the sound right, let alone predict anything. I mean, my goodness. And so it really hit me last night that the contrast between what this president has delivered for our country, my generation, all of our, you know, this patriotic movement that we have, is we want what's best for America. And I look at these 10 Democrats on stage, you know, both nights. I think to myself, do they want what's best for America, or do they want what's best for them? They just want power. All they want is power, no matter what it takes. And you know, you see Bernie Sanders there, and you see Bernie's kind of upset because he's no longer the only Bolshevik on stage. He looks around. When I ran against Hillary, this was so much easier. It's like how everyone wants to give away everything, and you want to give it. It's like, okay. And you got Kamala Harris, who, by the way, I thought she did fine against Joe. I mean, Joe Biden is so beyond corrupt. He doesn't know what he stands for. But, you know, she cross-examines Biden. Make no mistake, Biden will not be their nominee. He just will not be the nominee. You heard it here. He was horrible last night. He had no charisma. He had no message whatsoever. And that's just the beginning. Kamala Harris is just the very beginning of him cross-examining his horrendous record on race, by the way. If a Republican did 1/100th of what Joe Biden did defending segregationists, saying good things about former KKK members, Robert Byrd, describing 7-Elevens in his home state of Delaware, saying you can't walk into a 7-Eleven without a slight Indian accent. If a Republican said anything close to this, they would be run out of politics in general. Make no mistake. So he's going to be totally done. He's totally done. But what causes all of this? What causes the radicalism in the Democrat Party? This is what I do every single day at Turning Point USA. Turning Point USA is the nation's largest conservative student movement fighting for free markets, limited government, and American exceptionalism on over 1,400, thank you, college campuses across the country. Thank you. What drives us every single day is whatever happens on college campuses will soon happen in the halls of Congress. Everything that I heard on that debate stage, I've been hearing for the last 7 years. The fight that we've been doing on college campuses. College campuses set the entire tone of the conversation in the American left, and with that, the entire political tone of a country. Many years ago, I spoke at this very gathering, a couple years ago, and I made a bold prediction. I said, soon, there will be someone that comes to Congress who's clueless, young, doesn't narrow it down yet, right? Who is committed to the deconstruction of our country, who wants to give away everything, who believes everything before her, everything before that individual was a mistake, and everything in the future will be better if you just give that person all the power. And of course, I'm talking about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Ilhan Omar, and Rashida Tlaib, and all these people. And where do they come from? They come from college campuses. They come from the universities. We have allowed these radicals. If you look at Bernie Sanders, he is the typical college professor. That's who's teaching your children. That's who's teaching your grandchildren. And for all of you out there, if I had one action item, stop giving your money to your alma mater. Stop giving your money to Bernie Sanders to teach your kids. They don't need your money. They don't deserve your money. And it's polluting the minds of the next generation. So if you look on that Democrat stage, that just does not materially happen. You watch this Democrat debate, you feel as if we're in the middle of the Great Depression. I mean, they're making it seem as if joblessness is up and that there's misery everywhere, when in reality we have the lowest ever black unemployment, lowest ever Latino unemployment, lowest ever Asian unemployment, lowest ever disabled unemployment, lowest female unemployment in 50 years, lowest youth unemployment in 60 years, 500,000 manufacturing jobs created since Donald Trump got inaugurated, 3.2% GDP growth, the largest ever middle-class tax cut, the best economy in U.S. history in defiance of all the projections. And what do these people on stage act like? First, they act as if we're in the midst of the 1930 Great Depression. Never before in American history have you had people try to sell misery in the time of prosperity. You've never seen this. They're trying to convince us things are miserable. Wages are finally going up, jobs are being created, and they're going to look at this 50 years from now. We're going to watch this, and we're going to say, wow, this must have happened in the middle of a financial crisis, because it sounds they're really mad about something. And, they go around, and I'll say this to Kamala Harris, she's being called the winner and all whatever. And she said the biggest existential threat, so did Governor Inslee, the biggest existential threat to our country is not China, it's not ISIS, it's not Iran. She said it's Donald Trump. This is a sitting United States Senator who said the #1 existential crisis to our country is the greatest president of this generation who has turned our country around, right? We are dealing with symptoms. This is all symptoms. Kamala, Bernie, Elizabeth Warren, Robert Francis O'Rourke, who calls himself Beto. He is more Hispanic than Elizabeth Warren is Native American. I do have to say that. So they all pretend that they're something they aren't, all of them. Elizabeth Warren, she pretends she's Native American. Bernie Sanders is a socialist. He flies around on private jets. And by the way, can we just have this conversation once and for all that English should be the official language of the United States? Do we agree with this? And the over-pandering to the Hispanic community, meanwhile, legal Hispanics support the wall, They support the rule of law, right? They support this president. And I just think it's so horrible what's going on. And, you know, of course, Robert Francis O'Rourke, the Irishman from El Paso, tries to over-pander with the fake name that he has. And so look, my time is thin, so I'll say this, is we have to deal with root causes, or else our country will be taken over by these radicals. I believe Donald Trump will win re-election because of everyone in this room and what he's delivered for the American people. But I truly believe that. But I want you to think for a second, what's going to happen after Trump? What's going to happen 10 years? Do you think America will become more or less socialist if he gets reelected? This is a very, very, very important question. You have to look at root causes. The root cause of our entire country is how we've lost K-12 education, how we have lost the universities, how we've lost school boards. These are root causes. This is what I'm dedicating my time to. I'm going to do everything I possibly can to get the president reelected, because you must fight in the moment, but you also must fight for the future of our country. And if we do not bring the fight to the radicals that want to deconstruct our country, 15 years from now we'll be having this gathering, and we'll have a country that is unrecognizable. They're calling for total gun confiscation. They're calling for things that we would not even have a conversation of, the depletion and deterioration of all of our borders. And for this country to continue to be the greatest country ever to exist in the history of the world, we must smash the socialists where their turf is, on the college campuses every single day. Thank you guys so much. It's been a pleasure to be with you. Thank you.